The space around the Galactic Council's central stronghold suddenly filled with impossible light. Admiral Wu Jinbei watched from the bridge of the Iron Will as 17 massive structures materialized from the between space. They were the hidden human bases, no longer hiding their phase shift, technology allowing them to appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly. "By all the stars," whispered Navigation Officer So Young Park. "They're beautiful." The bases looked like crystalline cities floating in space, their surfaces covered with equations that moved and shifted like living things. Each one was larger than the Council's biggest space stations, but they seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once, their true size impossible to measure. Supreme Commander Zorthak's face appeared on the main screen, his metallic features twisted with rage and fear. "Impossible. Our sensors detected no ships approaching." Captain Hyunwoo Kim's voice came through from New Terra Base. "That's because we didn't approach, Commander. We've been here all along. We just stopped pretending we weren't." From each of the 17 bases, smaller ships began emerging, but these weren't normal spacecraft. They moved in ways that hurt to watch, taking shortcuts through reality itself, appearing and disappearing like thoughts made solid. "Admiral," Communications Officer Minjun Park reported, "we're receiving transmission protocols from the bases. They're offering to link our ships into their phase shift network." "Do it," Admiral Bay ordered without hesitation. The moment the connection was made, everything changed. The Iron Will suddenly existed in 17 different dimensions simultaneously. Admiral Bay could see the battle from impossible angles, could sense the quantum structure of every enemy ship, could feel the mathematical foundations of reality itself. "This is what we've become." Daon Song's voice echoed through the linked network. "This is what 50 years of learning the deep math has given us." The human fleet, now enhanced by the base's technology, began to move. But calling it movement was like calling a symphony a noise. The ships danced through spacetime, sliding between dimensions, attacking from directions that didn't exist in normal geometry. Supreme Commander Zorthak watched in horror as his reality anchor fleet tried to target the human vessels. But the anchors couldn't lock onto ships that existed in quantum superposition. Every time they tried to erase a human ship, the universe couldn't decide which version of the ship to erase. "Sir," his tactical officer reported with a shaking voice, "the humans are broadcasting something on all frequencies. It's mathematical formulas. Block the transmission." "We can't, sir." "They're not using normal communication methods. They're writing the equations directly into the quantum foam of spacetime itself. On every council ship, in every base, throughout their entire communication network, the deep math equations began to appear, not as signals or data, but as fundamental changes to reality itself." Communications Officer Ji-Hai Choi spoke from the bridge of the Eternal Dawn. "Captain, I'm broadcasting the complete deep math database on all quantum frequencies. Every species in the galaxy now has access to reality manipulation technology. The Council's monopoly on ultimate power is over," Captain Hyunwoo said. "Now everyone can learn what they tried to keep secret." Across the galaxy, the effect was immediate. Species that had been oppressed by the Council for millennia suddenly found themselves with the power to reshape their own worlds. The equations were self-teaching, adapting to each species' unique understanding of mathematics and physics. "What have you done?" Zorthak roared. "Do you realize what chaos you've unleashed?" "We've given everyone the same choice you had," Admiral Bay replied calmly. "The choice to use power wisely or foolishly. The difference is, we're not going around erasing entire species for making that choice." Dr. Junho Kang's voice joined the communication from one of the bases. "Commander Zorthak, your scientists will tell you that reality is becoming unstable. They're wrong. Reality is becoming free." The battle continued, but it was no longer a battle in any conventional sense. Human ships phased through Council vessels, not destroying them, but transforming them. Weapons became musical instruments. Armor plating turned into flowing silk. Life support systems began growing gardens instead of recycling air. "It's like they're not trying to kill us," a Council captain reported in bewilderment. "They're turning our ships into art." Engineer Haewon Yu smiled as she watched the tactical display. "That's the point. We could erase you from reality just like you did to Earth, but we're choosing something different." But the true shock came when the Council tried to activate their ultimate weapon. All 50 reality anchors synchronized their targeting systems and prepared to erase not just the human fleet, but the entire region of space they occupied. The command was given. The reality anchors fired. Nothing happened. Status report, Zorthak demanded. Sir, the reality anchors are functioning normally, but the equations they're firing are being rewritten in real time. Instead of erasing the target area, they're making it more real. Dr. Kang's laughter echoed through the quantum foam. Did you really think we spent 50 years hiding without learning how your weapons work? Every reality anchor in your fleet is now running on modified deep math equations. What kind of modifications? Instead of making things not exist, they now make things exist more intensely. Every ship, every planet, every star you try to erase will become more real, more solid, more permanent than it was before. The implications hit the Council fleet like a physical blow. Their ultimate weapon had been turned into its opposite. Instead of a tool of destruction, it was now a force of creation and reinforcement. Surrender, Admiral Bay said simply. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Never. Zorthak snarled. The Council has ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years. We will not be defeated by a species of primitives. Primitives? Captain Hyunwoo's voice carried a note of amusement. Commander, we've just demonstrated that we can rewrite the fundamental laws of physics in real time, phase our entire civilization in and out of reality, and turn your ultimate weapon into a tool of creation. What exactly makes us primitive? The answer came not from Zorthak, but from other voices across the Council fleet. Captains and crew members who had watched their weapons turn into art, their ships become things of beauty instead of war. Enough, said Captain Veltar from his cruiser. This madness ends now. You dare defy the Supreme Commander? Zorthak demanded. I dare to recognize when we've been beaten, Veltar replied. These humans could have erased us all. Instead, they chose to show us something we've forgotten in 10,000 years of ruling through fear. And what's that? Mercy. One by one, Council ships began powering down their weapons. Not because they were forced to, but because their crews chose to. Across the galaxy, species that had just learned the deep math were making the same choice, using their new power to create rather than destroy. Supreme Commander Zorthak found himself alone on his flagship, his fleet having abandoned him not through force but through a change of heart. This isn't over, he transmitted to the human fleet. The Council has other fleets, other weapons. No, Dayun Song replied gently. It is over. Because now everyone knows what you tried to keep secret. The power to reshape reality isn't dangerous because it exists. It's dangerous because people like you tried to control it. The last of the Council ships powered down their weapons. The battle for the galaxy had ended not with destruction, but with transformation. But even as Admiral Bay coordinated the peaceful occupation of the Council stronghold, he knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had crossed the line the Council had drawn around reality itself. Now they had to help the entire galaxy learn to live in a universe where the old rules no longer applied. The age of galactic empires was ending. The age of universal possibility was about to begin. And at the center of it all, the 17 human bases continued to broadcast their message into the quantum foam of space-time. Not a warning this time, but an invitation. The line was never meant to contain us. It was meant to be crossed. Haven's rest station hung in space like a giant metal flower. Its 5 arms stretched out from a central hub, each one housing different alien species. The station was neutral ground, where diplomats and traders from across the galaxy could meet safely. Captain Hyun-Woo Kim walked through the main corridor with his diplomatic officer, Min-ho Yoon. Behind them, Security Chief Yoonji Nam stayed alert, watching for any signs of trouble. The corridor buzzed with activity as dozens of alien species went about their business. Remember, Min-ho said quietly, Counselor Veltar is one of the more reasonable members of the Galactic Council, but that doesn't mean he'll tell us everything, Hyun-Woo nodded. He had spent the 3-day journey to Haven's Rest preparing for this meeting. The crew had researched everything they could find about the Galactic Council and the reality anchor. Most of the information was classified or heavily censored. They entered a large meeting room with a round table in the center. Counselor Veltar was already waiting. He was tall and thin with gray skin and 4 arms. His large eyes studied the humans as they sat down. Captain Kim, Veltar said in perfect English, I must admit I was surprised to receive your request for a meeting. Few humans have contacted the Council since Earth's departure. Departure? Yoonji said sharply. Is that what you call genocide? Veltar's expression didn't change. I call it necessity, Chief Nam. Your species posed a threat to the entire universe. Minho leaned forward. Counselor, we're here to understand what happened. Our people deserve to know the truth about their homeworld. The truth. Veltar was quiet for a moment. Very well. I will tell you what I can. 53 years ago, Earth scientists made a discovery. They found mathematical equations that could alter the fundamental structure of reality itself. The deep math, Hyunwoo said. Yes. At first, they used it for small experiments, moving objects without touching them, creating energy from nothing, healing injuries instantly. The application seemed endless. Veltar stood and walked to a wall display. With a gesture, he showed images of Earth from space, cities glowing with lights, ships moving between the planets. But then your scientists went further. They began to experiment with space and time. They created pocket dimensions. They bent gravity to their will. Some even claimed they could bring the dead back to life. The images changed to show laboratories with strange equipment, humans in white coats working with machinery that seemed to twist the light around it. The Council's science division became concerned, Veltar continued. We sent observers to monitor Earth's progress. What we found terrified us. What did you find? Minho asked. Your people were not content to master the deep math. They wanted to improve it. They began creating new equations, more powerful than anything we had seen. Our scientists calculated that if these experiments continued, they could tear holes in reality itself. Yoonji crossed her arms. So you decided to kill them all instead of trying to help them control it? Veltar turned back to face them. Chief Nam, you misunderstand the scale of the threat. The deep math doesn't just affect one planet or one solar system. If reality becomes unstable, it spreads like a disease. Stars collapse. Planets disappear. Entire species cease to exist. How do you know? Hyunwoo asked. Have you seen this happen before? The counselor hesitated. Yes. 3 times in galactic history, species have discovered the deep math. The first time we tried to contain them, half a galaxy died before we could stop the spread. The second time we tried to negotiate. They agreed to limit their experiments, but secretly continued their research. When reality collapsed in their region, we lost over 1,000 inhabited worlds. The room fell silent. Hyunwoo looked at his officers. He could see them trying to process this information. The third time? Minho asked. The third time we acted immediately. 1 planet, 1 species gone in an instant. No spread, no galactic catastrophe. The universe remained stable. And Earth was the 4th time, Hyunwoo said. Earth was different, Veltar admitted. Your species learned the deep math faster than any previous civilization. In just 5 years, you progressed further than others had in centuries. Our scientists projected that you would discover the most dangerous equations within months. Yoonji leaned back in her chair. So you used this reality anchor to erase our entire solar system. The reality anchor is the Council's ultimate weapon, Veltar explained. It doesn't destroy matter or energy. It simply makes things not exist, as if they never were. It's clean, instant, merciful. Merciful? Hyunwoo's voice was cold. You erased billions of people. I erased billions to save trillions, Veltar replied. That is the burden of leadership, Captain. Sometimes we must make terrible choices for the greater good. Minho pulled out a data tablet. Counselor, our records show that Earth sent several messages to the Council in the months before they disappeared. Messages requesting dialogue, offering to share their research. Why didn't you respond? Veltar looked uncomfortable. The Council debated those messages for weeks. Some members wanted to attempt communication. Others argued that any delay was too dangerous. And which side won? Yoonji asked. The cautious side. It always does. Hyunwoo stood up. So our people tried to reach out. They offered cooperation, and you responded by erasing them from existence. Captain, you must understand. I understand perfectly. Hyunwoo interrupted. You were afraid. So afraid that you committed genocide rather than take any risk. Veltar's 4 arms gestured in what might have been frustration. Fear, yes, we were afraid. We had seen entire regions of space collapse into nothing. We had watched civilizations die because reality itself became unstable. That fear saved the galaxy. No, Yoonji said, standing as well. That fear made you murderers. The counselor was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke more softly. Perhaps. But if you had seen what we have seen, you might have made the same choice. Minho gathered his notes. Counselor, one more question. Are there any other humans who survived? Any who escaped Earth before the reality anchor was used? Veltar's expression changed slightly. Just for a moment, Hyunwoo thought he saw something like guilt in the alien's large eyes. According to our records, no humans escaped Earth's solar system, Veltar said carefully. According to your records, Yoonji repeated. That's an interesting way to phrase it. It is the only information I can provide. Hyunwoo studied the counselor's face. There was something there. Something Veltar wasn't saying. Thank you for your time, Hyunwoo said finally. We'll be leaving now. As they walked back through the station's corridors, Minho spoke quietly. He's hiding something. Definitely, Yoonji agreed. Did you see his expression when you asked about survivors? Hyunwoo nodded. He knows something. The question is, how do we find out what? They were almost back to their ship when a figure stepped out of the shadows near the docking bay. It was a human woman with short black hair and sharp features. She looked to be in her 40s, wearing the simple clothes of a station worker. Captain Kim, she said quietly. Yes? My name is Da-Yun Song. I need to speak with you privately. Yoonji moved closer to the woman. About what? Da-Yun looked around carefully, then leaned closer. About the humans who didn't die when Earth disappeared. About the ones who learned to hide from the reality anchor. About the ones who are still out there waiting. Hyunwoo felt his heart race. What are you talking about? Not here, Da-Eun said. Too many eyes and ears. Meet me in docking bay 7 in 1 hour. Come alone. Before any of them could respond, she melted back into the crowd of station workers and disappeared. Minho looked at Hyunwoo. Sir, this could be a trap. Maybe, Hyunwoo replied. But if there really are survivors out there, then everything changes, Yoonji finished. As they walked back to their ship, Hyunwoo's mind raced. Veltar had been hiding something. This woman claimed to know about human survivors, and somewhere out there, the reality anchor still existed, ready to erase anyone else who crossed the line. But if humans had found a way to hide from the ultimate weapon, if they had survived and learned from Earth's destruction, then maybe the galaxy's most feared civilization wasn't as extinct as everyone believed. Maybe it was just waiting for the right moment to remind the Galactic Council what it meant to cross the wrong species. Captain Hyunwoo Kim walked alone through the dimly lit corridors of Haven's Rest Station. Docking Bay 7 was in the oldest section, where few people went after working hours. His footsteps echoed off the metal walls as he made his way deeper into the station. He found Da-Yun Song waiting beside a small cargo ship. She was checking a handheld scanner, watching for anyone who might be following them. Captain, she said without looking up, thank you for coming. You said there were survivors, Hyunwoo replied. I need to know if that's true. Da-Yun put away her scanner and looked at him directly. It's true. But first I need to know something about you. When Earth disappeared, where were you? New Sol Colony. I was 15 years old. Do you remember the last message from Earth? The official one that all the colonies received? Hyunwoo thought back. It was a routine supply schedule update. Nothing unusual. That's right. But there was another message. One that only a few people received. Da-Eun pulled out a small device. My father was Dr. Song Min-jun, one of Earth's leading experts on the deep math. 3 days before Earth disappeared, he sent this to certain colony worlds. She pressed a button. A hologram appeared showing an older man with kind eyes and graying hair. The message was short. If you are receiving this, then Earth is gone, the recorded Dr. Song said. The Galactic Council has decided we are too dangerous to exist. But we have found a way to survive. Follow the mathematical coordinates attached to this message. Find the others. Remember that humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt. The hologram faded. Hyunwoo stared at the space where it had been. Your father knew what was going to happen. Some of Earth's scientists figured it out, Da-Yun explained. They noticed council ships watching the solar system. They intercepted communications about something called the reality anchor, so they prepared. How do you prepare for having your entire solar system erased? Da-Yun smiled grimly. You learn to exist between the cracks. Come with me. I'll show you. She led him onto her cargo ship. It looked ordinary from the outside, but inside, Hyunwoo saw equipment he didn't recognize. Strange machines with curved lines that seemed to bend the light around them. This ship runs on deep math technology, Da-Eun explained. We call it phase shifting. The ship exists slightly outside normal reality. Most sensors can't detect us when we're running silent. She started the ship and they lifted off from the station. Once they were in open space, Dayun activated something on her control panel. The stars outside seemed to shimmer and change. "Where are we going?" Hyunwoo asked, to meet the others. "But first, let me explain what happened 50 years ago." As the ship traveled through space, Dayun told him the story. When Earth scientists realized the Council was planning to destroy them, they worked frantically on a solution. They couldn't stop the reality anchor, but they found a way to slip through its effects. The reality anchor erases things by cutting their connection to normal space-time, she explained. But the deep math equations my father and his team developed allowed them to step slightly outside normal reality. When the anchor fired, part of Earth's population was already existing in what we call the between space. How many people? About 50,000. Scientists, their families, volunteers who were willing to risk the experimental transportation. They scattered to hidden bases throughout the galaxy. The ship suddenly dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Outside the windows, Hyunwoo saw what looked like empty space. But Daeun pressed another control, and suddenly a massive space station appeared. "Phase shifted," she said. "Hidden in the between space. This is New Terra Base." As they docked, Hyunwoo marveled at the size of the station. It was enormous, easily capable of housing thousands of people. But according to every sensor in normal space, it simply didn't exist. Damyan led him through corridors filled with humans. Men and women of all ages, working on projects he couldn't begin to understand. Children played in gardens that seemed to exist in impossible spaces, where the walls curved in directions that hurt to think about. "Welcome to humanity's secret," Dayun said. They entered a large laboratory where a man in his 60s was working over a table covered with equations. The formulas seemed to move and shift even as Hyunwoo watched them. "Dr. Junho Kang," Dayun said. "I'd like you to meet Captain Kim." Dr. Kang looked up and smiled. "Captain Kim, we've been monitoring your ship since you left Earth's coordinates. Quite brave of you to confront the Council directly." "You were watching us?" "We watch everything," Dr. Kang said. "We have to. The Council still hunts for survivors. Every few years they send ships to investigate reports of human activity." Hyunwoo looked around the laboratory. "What are you working on here?" "Improvements to the deep math," Dr. Kang replied. "The equations that saved us 50 years ago were just the beginning. We've spent 5 decades perfecting them." He gestured to the moving equations on his table. "This formula allows us to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. This one lets us communicate instantly across any distance. And this one," he paused, his expression becoming serious. "This one allows us to do what the Council feared most. We can rewrite the basic rules of reality." "Show him," Dayun said. Dr. Kang picked up a piece of metal from his table. It was twisted and broken, clearly damaged. He placed his hand over it and spoke a complex equation aloud. The metal began to change. The breaks sealed themselves. The twists straightened. Within seconds, it was perfect again. "We can heal any injury, repair any damage, even bring back the recently dead," Dr. Kang explained. "The Council was right to fear this power. In the wrong hands, it could destroy everything. But not in your hands. We've learned wisdom the hard way," Daeun said. "We've seen what happens when the Council decides you're too dangerous. So we've been very careful." Dr. Kang led them to another section of the laboratory. Here, dozens of people worked on what looked like weapons, but unlike any weapons Hyunwoo had ever seen. "We call them reality cannons," Dr. Kang explained. "They don't fire energy or matter. They fire mathematical equations that can alter whatever they hit." "Alter how?" "A ship hit by one of these might suddenly discover that its hull is made of gas instead of metal, or that its engines exist in a different dimension from the rest of the ship. The possibilities are endless." Hyunwoo felt a chill. "You're talking about weapons that can change the fundamental nature of reality. The same power the Council uses," Daeun said. "The reality anchor is just a very large, very crude version of this technology." They continued the tour, and Hyunwoo saw wonders and horrors that challenged everything he thought he knew about the universe. Humans who had learned to exist as pure thought, machines that could create matter from nothing, gardens growing in spaces that folded back on themselves. "How many bases like this are there?" he asked. 17, Dr. Kang replied. "Each one hidden in the between space, each one working on different aspects of the deep math. We have perhaps 200,000 people total." 2. 100,000 survivors of a species that numbered in the billions. Yes, but we're not just survivors anymore, Captain. We're something new, something the galaxy has never seen before. They entered a communication center where several technicians monitored screens showing activity throughout the galaxy. One of them, a young woman, looked up as they approached. Dr. Kang, we're receiving reports from our watchers. The Council is mobilizing their fleet. They know the humans are asking questions. Dr. Kang's expression darkened. How long do we have? Maybe a week before they start systematic searches of human colony worlds. Hyunwoo felt his stomach drop. They're going to attack the colonies. Not attack, Doan said grimly. Erase. Just like they did to Earth. They can't risk news of the survivors spreading. We have to warn them, Hyunwoo said. Warning won't be enough, Dr. Kang replied. The reality anchor can erase a planet from billions of kilometers away. By the time the colonies see it coming, it will be too late. Then what do we do? Dr. Kang and Daun exchanged glances. Some unspoken communication passed between them. We've been preparing for this day for 50 years, Dr. Kang said finally. The day when the Council would discover us and try to finish what they started. And we're ready to show them what happens when you try to erase a species that has learned to exist between reality and dreams. Da-eun activated a communication system. Send the signal to all bases, she said. Operation Deep Strike is now active. Across the galaxy, hidden in the spaces between dimensions, 200,000 human survivors received the message. After 50 years of hiding, of learning, of growing stronger in secret, they were finally ready to remind the universe why the Galactic Council had been so afraid of humanity in the first place. The war for reality itself was about to begin. Admiral Wu Jinbei stood on the bridge of the battleship Iron Will as emergency messages flooded in from across the galaxy. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his crew could see the tension in his shoulders. After 30 years commanding human colonial defense forces, he had never faced anything like this. Report, he ordered. Captain Hyunwoo Kim's voice came through the communication system from New Terra Base. Admiral, the Council has declared all humans a Class X extinction threat. They're mobilizing the Reality Anchor fleet. How many ships? Intelligence reports at least 50 Anchor-class vessels plus support fleets. They're moving toward every major human colony world. Admiral Bay closed his eyes briefly. 50 reality anchors, each one capable of erasing an entire solar system from existence. The human colonies had maybe 100 warships total, and conventional weapons were useless against technology that could rewrite the laws of physics. What's our timeline? He asked. 72 hours before the first anchor reaches New Sol. Maybe less. On the main screen, tactical displays showed the positions of human colony worlds and approaching Council fleets. Red markers indicated imminent threats. There were too many red markers. Chief Engineer Haewon Yu looked up from her station. Admiral, I've been working with the deep math equations that Dr. Kang provided. I think I can modify our weapon systems. Explain. Instead of firing energy bolts, we could fire mathematical formulas. Reality-altering equations that would make enemy ships forget how to exist in normal space. Admiral Bay turned to face her. Haewon was brilliant, but she was talking about technology that had gotten Earth erased from existence. Is it safe? Nothing about this situation is safe, sir. But it's our only chance. Communications Officer Min Jun Park spoke up from his station. Admiral, incoming message from the Galactic Council. Supreme Commander Zorthak wants to speak with you. Put him on screen. The display changed to show an alien with metallic blue skin and glowing red eyes. Supreme Commander Zorthak was the Council's military leader, known throughout the galaxy for his ruthless efficiency. Admiral Bay, Zorthak said in a voice like grinding metal, you will order all human ships to power down their weapons and surrender immediately. On what authority? Admiral Bay replied, on the authority of the Galactic Council's extinction protocol. Your species has been reclassified as a universal threat. You have 1 hour to comply, and if we don't, then you will share the fate of your homeworld. Every human colony, every human ship, every trace of your species will be erased from reality. You will become nothing more than a cautionary tale. The connection ended. The bridge fell silent. Sir, Minjun said quietly, colony worlds are reporting panic. Civilian ships are trying to evacuate, but there's nowhere to run. The Council has ships positioned at every major hyperspace route. Admiral Bay looked at the tactical display again. Millions of human civilians on dozens of worlds, all about to be erased because their species had dared to learn too much. Hey, Juan, how long to modify our weapons? 6 hours minimum, sir. We don't have 6 hours. The engineer's face was grim. Then we fight with what we have. Admiral, a new voice said. Dae-Yun Song appeared on the communication screen from New Terra Base. We're transmitting deep math defense protocols to all colonial fleets. It won't make you invisible like our ships, but it should provide some protection against reality anchors. Some protection? The equations will create quantum uncertainty fields around your ships. When the anchors try to erase you, there's a chance the universe won't be sure if you exist or not. Maybe 50-50 odds of survival. Admiral Bay almost laughed. 50-50 odds against weapons that could erase solar systems, but it was better than nothing. Do it, he ordered. Across the human colonial fleet, ships began implementing the deep math defense protocols. Reality shimmered around the vessels as they partially slipped into the between space. It felt strange to the crews, like existing in a dream where nothing was quite solid. Admiral, Dr. Kang's voice came through from the base. There's something else. We've been monitoring Council communications. They're not just planning to erase current human settlements. What do you mean? They're going to use the reality anchors to erase humanity from history itself. Every trace that humans ever existed, every planet we ever visited, every alien species we ever made contact with will forget we were ever real. The implications hit Admiral Bay like a physical blow. Not just genocide, but temporal erasure, as if humanity had never existed at all. Can they do that? The deep math equations suggest it's possible. They would need to coordinate all 50 reality anchors in a galaxy-wide resonance pattern. But yes, they could remove humanity from the timeline itself. Hei-Wan looked up from her workstation. Sir, if they're planning something that massive, they'll need time to coordinate. Maybe we can disrupt them before they're ready. How? She smiled grimly. By doing what humans do best. Causing chaos. Admiral Bay opened a fleet-wide communication channel. All ships, this is Admiral Bay. You've all heard the situation. The Council wants to erase us from existence. They think we're too dangerous to exist. He paused, looking around his bridge at the faces of his crew. Good people. Brave people. People who deserved better than extinction. Maybe they're right, he continued. Maybe we are too dangerous. Maybe a species that can rewrite reality should frighten them. Today we're going to show them exactly how dangerous humans can be when we stop trying to be nice. The fleet began to move. 50 human warships against thousands of Council vessels and 50 reality anchors. On paper it was hopeless. But the humans weren't fighting on paper anymore. As the first reality anchor fleet approached New Sol, something unexpected happened. The Council ships found themselves unable to lock onto their targets. The human ships existed in quantum uncertainty, flickering in and out of reality too quickly for the anchors to fix on them. Impossible, Supreme Commander Zorthak muttered as he watched the tactical display. No species has ever developed defenses against reality anchors. Sir, his tactical officer reported, the human ships are firing something at us. Not energy weapons. Something else. What kind of something else? I don't know, sir. But the cruiser Sharpblade just changed. Its hull is now made of crystallized music. The crew is reporting that their gravity generators are playing symphonies instead of creating artificial gravity. Zorthak stared at the report. Crystallized music? Playing symphonies? What kind of weapons did that? Across the battle zone, human ships fired salvos of pure mathematics at their enemies. Council vessels found their weapons transformed into flower gardens. Their shields became transparent windows. Their engines began singing ancient Earth lullabies instead of providing thrust. Admiral, Hei-Wan reported with amazement, it's working. The reality cannons are completely disrupting their formations. Half their fleet is dealing with equipment that's been transformed into art projects. But the victory was temporary. The Council had numbers, and some of their ships were managing to adapt to the chaos. Worse, the reality anchors themselves remained largely unaffected by the mathematical attacks. Sir, Minjun called out, urgent message from Dr. Kang. The scientist's face appeared on screen, excitement clear in his expression. Admiral, we've been analyzing the Council's reality anchor network. We think we've found a weakness. Tell me, the anchors are all connected through quantum entanglement. They share targeting data instantaneously across any distance. But that connection works both ways. Admiral Bay began to understand. You're saying we could send something back through their own network? Exactly. If we could get close enough to one reality anchor, we could inject a virus into their entire system. Not a computer virus, a mathematical virus, an equation that would make their weapons forget how to erase things. How close is close enough? Dr. Kang's expression became serious. Physical contact. Someone would have to touch their ship with a device carrying the virus equation. It was a suicide mission. Reality anchors were massive vessels, heavily shielded and surrounded by escort fleets. Getting close enough to touch one would be impossible for any normal ship. I'll do it, Admiral Bay said simply. Sir. Several voices protested at once. I'm the senior officer present. This is my responsibility. Heywan stood up from her station. Admiral, with respect, you're needed to coordinate the fleet. Let me take a fighter with the virus device. Engineer you. Sir, I'm the only one who fully understands the deep math equations. If something goes wrong with the device, I'm the only one who might be able to fix it in flight. Admiral Bay looked at the young woman. She was brilliant, brave, and probably their only hope, but sending her on a suicide mission felt like another kind of defeat. There might be another way. Dayun's voice cut in. We've been preparing a surprise for the Council. Something we've been working on for 50 years. What kind of surprise? The kind that shows them what humanity looks like when we stop hiding and start fighting back. On the communication screen, Dayun smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. Admiral, prepare your fleet for phase transition. In 10 minutes, you're going to see exactly why the Galactic Council was so afraid of humans in the first place. Captain Hyunwoo Kim stood on the bridge of the exploration ship Eternal Dawn, staring at the empty space ahead. His dark eyes showed no emotion, but his hands gripped the rail tighter than usual. After 50 years of searching, they had finally found Earth's location. Or rather, they had found where Earth should be. Report, Hyunwoo said to his crew. Navigator So Young Park checked her instruments again. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. Captain, the coordinates are correct. This is definitely where Earth's solar system should be. But there's nothing here. Hyunwoo walked closer to the main screen. The display showed only black space with distant stars. No sun, no planets, no moon, not even space dust or rocks. It was as if someone had taken a giant spoon and scooped out everything that once existed here. Define nothing, Hyunwoo said. I mean nothing, sir, So Young replied. My sensors can't find any matter at all. No radiation signatures, no gravity wells. It's like a perfect empty sphere of space about 10 billion kilometers wide. Chief Engineer Taemin Lee looked up from his station. His young face was pale. Captain, that's impossible. Even if every planet was destroyed, we should see debris. Gas clouds. Something. You can't just make an entire solar system disappear. Communications Officer Ji-Hai Choi suddenly straightened in her chair. Sir, I'm picking up a transmission. From where? Hyunwoo asked. That's the strange part. It's coming from the center of the empty zone, right where Earth's sun should be. Hyunwoo felt his heart beat faster. Put it on speakers. The bridge filled with static for a moment. Then a voice spoke in clear English. It was mechanical, like a computer recording. The words were cold and final. Warning, warning, you have entered a restricted zone. The inhabitants of this system crossed the line. They paid the price. You will pay the price of crossing the line. This message will repeat. Silence fell over the bridge. Then the message started again, word for word. So Young turned to face the captain. Sir, that message is broadcasting on all frequencies. It's been repeating for, according to the signal analysis, about 50 years. 50 years. That matched perfectly with when Earth stopped sending messages to the colonies. Hyunwoo had been just a child then, living on the colony world of New Seoul. He remembered the day when the regular supply ships from Earth simply stopped coming. No explanation. No final message. Just silence. Can you trace the source? Hyunwoo asked Ji-Hai. Working on it, sir. Her hands moved over her controls. The signal is coming from a small object at the exact center of the empty zone. It's artificial. Looks like some kind of beacon. Taemin stood up from his engineering station. Captain, with your permission, I'd like to scan that beacon more closely. Maybe we can learn what happened here. Hyunwoo nodded. Do it. But keep us at a safe distance. The next hour passed slowly. The crew worked in near silence, running every scan they could think of. The results were always the same. Empty space where a solar system should be. And that repeating message. Security Chief Yoonji Nam joined them on the bridge. She was a tall woman with sharp eyes and quick movements. "Captain, I've been thinking about that message. Crossed the line and paid the price. It sounds like punishment." "Punishment for what?" So Young asked. "That's what we need to find out," Hyunwoo said. Ji-hai looked up from her station. "Sir, I've been analyzing the beacon. It's not human technology. The materials and construction methods are completely unknown, but the message is definitely in human languages. English, Korean, Chinese, Spanish, and 12 others. So someone else built this beacon but made sure humans could understand the message," Taemin said. Hyunwoo walked to the center of the bridge. Around him, his crew continued their work. These were good people. He had served with most of them for years. They trusted him to make the right decisions. But what was the right decision here? Earth was gone. Not destroyed, that would leave evidence. It was simply erased as if it had never existed. Someone or something had the power to remove an entire solar system from reality, and they had left a warning message in human languages. "Captain," Yoonji said quietly, "we should consider the possibility that this is a trap." "Explain." "Think about it. Earth disappears 50 years ago. Now we show up looking for it, and we find this convenient beacon with a message just for us. Maybe someone wanted us to find this." Hyunwoo considered this. It was possible. But why would anyone want to trap a single human exploration ship? The Eternal Dawn was well armed, but it was just one vessel. If someone could erase entire solar systems, they wouldn't need tricks to deal with one ship. "Sir," So-young said, "I'm detecting another ship approaching. It's not human." On the main screen, a vessel appeared. It was sleek and silver, with curves that hurt to look at directly. Definitely alien design. "Are they hostile?" Hyunwoo asked. "No weapons charged," Yoonji reported. "They're sending a communication request." "Accept it." The screen changed to show an alien face. It had large black eyes and pale blue skin. When it spoke, the words were translated by the ship's computer. "Human vessel, I am Captain Mordan of the ship Silver Wind. We received your scans of the beacon. You should not be here." "This was our home system," Hyunwoo replied. "We have every right to be here." The alien's expression changed slightly. "Your home system was removed by order of the Galactic Council 50 years ago. The species that lived here violated the fundamental laws of reality. They were deemed too dangerous to exist." The words hit the bridge like a physical blow. Taemin sat down heavily in his chair. Ji-hai's hands stopped moving over her controls. "Too dangerous?" Hyunwoo asked. His voice stayed calm, but inside he felt cold anger building. The humans of Earth discovered something they should not have discovered. They began experiments that threatened the stability of the universe itself. The Council had no choice but to act. And what exactly did they discover? Mordun hesitated. "That information is classified. But I will tell you this much, human captain. Your people found a way to change the basic rules of reality. They called it the deep math. The Council's scientists determined that if this knowledge spread, it could unravel the fabric of space and time." The bridge was completely silent now. Even the normal sounds of the ship seemed muted. "So you killed them all," Hyunwoo said. "We removed the threat. The reality anchor erased your entire solar system from existence. No suffering, no pain. One moment they existed, the next they did not." Hyunwoo looked at his crew. He saw shock, grief, and growing anger on their faces. These people had families on Earth, friends, lovers. All gone, erased like they never existed. "Captain Mordan," Hyunwoo said carefully, "thank you for the information. We'll be leaving now. A wise choice. Do not return to this place." The alien ship turned and jumped to faster than light speed, disappearing in seconds. Hyunwoo turned to his crew. "Plot a course for Haven's rest station. We need to learn more about this Galactic Council." As the Eternal Dawn turned away from the empty space that once held Earth, the beacon continued its endless message. "You will pay the price of crossing the line.